Hi gang, we're back.
Today we have the lovely Dani on. She shares all about her daughter Eloise's journey being autistic with other different diagnoses. She's a wonderful girl with a wonderful story. Stay tuned.
Enjoy the show.
Welcome, Dani.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Just have to start off by saying we absolutely love watching you on TikTok and your gorgeous daughter.
She's divine.
She's
She
gorgeous.
is.
She's amazing. She's inspiring.
She is. She's amazing.
And I think you said Eloise is 10.
Yes.
So in our situation, I have an almost 6-year-old.
Okay.
And Jade's Bailey is almost 4. So
Okay.
we're behind you with our journeys. And of course, every individual is different.
Yeah.
But it gives us hope. And I feel like it gives so many other people online hope with her progression.
Definitely.
So I thought it'd be really good to obviously introduce yourself and kind of start from the beginning with the whole diagnosis and her progression and where she was and where she is today.
So, so I'm Dani, obviously. Eloise is 10. She's my daughter. She has autism, ADHD, global developmental delay, but they've now changed that just to learning disability. That actually happened a couple of years ago.
So at 8 years old, it was changed to learning, because we were just saying before off camera that we thought it changed from 16.
So did I. So that's what I was always told as well when she was diagnosed. But no, her paediatrician said to me, no, it's now learning disability.
So do you think that's with every paediatrician? Because I know some are also very different.
I don't know. I don't know whether it depends.
Or because they just knew it was going to always
Maybe.
be there.
I don't know whether it depends on the developmental progress that she's made, or I just don't know.
You just don't know, yeah.
But she also has scarring on her left temporal lobe in her brain, which is called left hippocampal sclerosis.
Is that something you're born with?
Yes. Well, yes and no. It can be. It can be as a result of head trauma. It can be as a result of a virus. It can just literally be.
How did you find that
formed
out?
In the womb? Well, Eloise, when she was a baby, I didn't personally notice anything like at all, but people around me did. But she was my first child, so like I didn't notice the fact she didn't really look into my eyes or follow my finger or any of that stuff. I was just like in this, baby bubble. Yeah. But then she did start saying a couple of words. So she did actually say mama and dada before she was 1. And she was eating everything in sight. Like there was, visually, I personally couldn't see anything. But then I put her to bed literally the week of her first birthday, and she woke up and had, honestly, it was like having a newborn baby in my 1-year-old's body. Like she literally just screamed from morning to night. She was always upset. She wouldn't look at us. She wouldn't eat anything. It was literally awful. So I immediately thought the worst. I was like, there's something horrifically wrong with her brain, or, to be honest with you, I went down crazy routes in my brain because I was so worried about her.
Well, it must have been such a shock from literally going to sleep to waking up as a different person.
It literally happened overnight.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. And at the time, I was trying to blame so many different things, and it just happened. So she was then in and out of hospital for a year. She had like lumbar punctures, MRIs, EEGs, ECGs, like everything that they could possibly do, bloods, everything.
Did autism ever come up in that?
Yes, she was actually diagnosed just before her 2nd birthday, and at the time she was the youngest child in Hampshire to have been diagnosed.
Yeah, it's really young too.
That's because
when she had this regression, let's call it, at 1 year old.
Yeah.
Would autism even spring to mind? Did you know anything about autism?
I did, and I had the thought process. Her father, there was quite a lot on his side of the family with neurodivergence, and so it did come into my mind, but I was still in this zone of panic. I thought there was something seriously wrong with her, because she would completely be so vacant for like, it feels like an eternity, but it was only ever like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
She would just disappear. So then they diagnosed her with petit mal, which are like tiny little absent seizures. And eventually, obviously it got to a stage where we'd exhausted all medical testing and avenues, and they diagnosed her with autism. Then global developmental delay followed at 3. But I actually only found out the results of her MRI 6 months ago.
Wow.
From when she was 1.5.
What?
So that's a whole different story. It absolutely devastated me because she had a tonic seizure last year for the first time, like a proper
seizure.
And it was really bizarre, actually. You know when the house goes too quiet? We were at my mum's and all of a sudden it's like 6:30 and I just thought, why is it so quiet? Like where is Eloise? Because it's never quiet when Eloise is around.
We feel you.
Yeah, and she was asleep on the sofa, which again...
Doesn't happen.
No, she's medicated to sleep. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
So I was really confused. Woke her up, and it literally happened the second I woke her up. She immediately, it was awful.
That must have been the most frightening thing for me. That just would tip me over.
Yeah, it did
for any mum. I mean, were you in like that mode of I just have to sort this out, or did you freak?
No, I actually bizarrely went in to complete. I always wonder this about myself, like fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
But I was actually fine. Like I called an ambulance. My mum stayed with her. They arrived within like minutes.
Wow.
They were incredible, really. They were, and they took us in. But then they weren't so incredible when we got to A&E. And I think a lot of people will probably relate to this. Is that when you go to hospital with a child that has any form of neurodivergence, it can be extremely challenging because obviously your child, number one, doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
They're frightened. They don't know what's happening. Eloise has extreme white coat syndrome, so she won't let doctors anywhere near her. Even to the point if she sees somebody wearing like a lanyard, they could literally be anyone. She immediately thinks they're a doctor and that's it. She just breaks, like,
that
shuts down.
surely, even though she was so young, must have been trauma from when she was 1 year old.
Yeah, because...
In and out of hospital.
Yeah. And throughout her life. We've had many times with Eloise where she's had to be in hospital for various reasons and it's always been a struggle. She's always either had to be sedated or restrained or... So to her, she just correlates it with negativity. And so it's really, really hard. But as a result of that seizure, we then had an appointment with her pediatrician who said, I was looking over her, notes and her MRI from when she was just before her, second birthday. And she has this scarring in her brain. And I was literally like, sorry, what?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You?
No. And the crazy thing is that when she was 18 months, when we were in that hospital, they offered us antipsychotics without even knowing what was wrong with her.
Wow.
They offered us anti-epilepsy drugs. Obviously, antipsychotics is quite a horrible way to say it, but that is what they're called.
Yeah.
And I refused them straight away because I was like, I'm not giving my 1.5-year-old something when I don't even know what's wrong with her. But now, I look at those MRI results and I think, did I make the right decision? Like, I just don't know because...
You made the decision based on what information you had and you had no information.
Exactly, yeah. So
I don't think you can beat yourself up over that.
No. But I think it's hard to go through 8 years of... It's been a journey, with her. And I think to have that information not given to us was really, really difficult. Yeah, really, really difficult. So
since the seizure... Does she now have to be medicated or is that, again, a parent's choice?
A parent's choice. Well, it was my choice. I don't know whether it would be if she'd had multiple. They gave me the choice and I said no because she is already on ADHD medication and Eloise has had a rough couple of years with regards to her own mental health and also anxiety and behaviours, and I just felt like throwing another medication into the mix was
just make her so unbalanced, even though she's unbalanced now
just
anyway.
So unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, you just think I don't want to pump her. Old. Yeah, like as it is with ADHD meds. I know this isn't the case, but there's always been this worry for me that I'm stopping her from being
herself.
Yeah,
I get that. My son's ADHD.
Yeah,
and. Actually, we haven't given him his medication for the last couple of weeks because he's in the last year of primary school. It's just fun now.
Yeah.
And he's actually said to us, I don't want them. I don't like the way that they make me feel.
Yeah.
And actually, he is a bit more bolshy without them. And he's a bit harder for us to manage. But if that's the, if that is the outcome of us having to work a little harder, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because actually I've seen more personality in him in the last couple of weeks than we have in like a year.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, we've had this a few times on our podcast from different individuals, that the ADHD medication brings out the autism more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that, yeah. I mean, I only give it to Eloise on school days.
Yeah.
Weekends, I just think, you be you, hun.
Have a
Like,
break.
100%.
You do you, because our house is a very safe space anyway. Like, I would never want her to have to be anything or anyone but herself, which I know ADHD medication isn't stopping her from being
No.
herself, but sometimes I just wonder.
It sometimes just, I feel like it takes away that little glimmer, like that spark in them. Like it just,
I agree.
it calms them down, yes, but it just takes away, I don't know how to explain it, but it
Yeah.
just takes away that little
Yeah.
Bit of
spark
their
that makes
personality,
them
maybe.
them.
I don't know about you as well, but I find that she tends to be a bit more spaced.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. She'll just sort of sit there and I'm like, Lou, you okay? And she's like, you know, totally. She's okay, but she's just not in the room.
Yeah, I agree.
And that worries me as well. So, you know, it's hard. It's so hard to make these decisions.
Again, this might be a really difficult question to ask, but as a mum, what diagnosis can you manage better? Is it the ASD or the ADHD?
To be honest with you, I've actually always found my answer to that would be neither. It would be her learning disability.
Yeah.
So
This is what we say.
yeah. So
We actually had the conversation on the way here, and I said, you know what? It's not actually her autism, Bailey Bow, that's the problem,
No.
or the whatever. It's the learning. It's the
The delay.
It's the delay.
yeah, because I worry about her all the time. It's silly things like going to the park.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're going to go to the park, and there are going to be the vast majority of the children there are going to be neurotypical. Let's face it, or they're going to, know how to play in a way that neurotypical children would play.
Yeah.
Eloise is not going to do that. So then I start to worry about the reactions from other children, her not understanding, getting upset. It's really, really hard. And I think it's things like that bother you more than anything else. And the fact that sometimes I can see she's so frustrated and she wants to tell me something, but she can't, or she feels away and she can't explain what that is. And that's the worst part. Like, I personally have never found the autism or the ADHD really difficult to deal with, but I don't know whether that's because of how I am as a person, and that it's not me like blowing my own trumpet or anything like that. It's just me saying that I tend to deal with situations better when they're full on. I just do. I work well under pressure. So when she is, being her happy, like, I'm going to use this word because it is so apt for our children. I know it's frowned upon, but manic, right? It feels manic sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
we feel you.
Yeah, like she'll be running around like she sounds like a literal herd of elephants, but she's one person. She's like the loudest person in the house, but hates noise. So it's like all of that I can deal with, but it's the limited understanding.
Yeah, I've always said that.
Yeah, the
Always.
vulnerability that comes with that. Like,
It's so frightening.
It's
as
like
a parent.
it's the communication.
Yeah.
We can't communicate with them. They don't understand.
yeah, like,
And even when they do have words, as you said,
Doesn't mean that they understand.
don't have the communication or
No.
the understanding of their surroundings.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that really I'm now really struggling with as well, now that she's nearly 6, after school clubs, watching, I always have to be there where everyone else, their children get dropped off.
Yeah.
But just seeing how different she is and how people are staring at her or they're laughing because she might do something funny or quirky.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell everyone to
Fuck off.
Yeah.
that, but I wouldn't say that. She has, so we're good.
No.
But we can't do that, obviously.
So give
But
us a
I think that's
scenario.
what's difficult.
In the park, for instance.
Yeah.
Give us a scenario.
Yeah,
what
what's
will
she
she
like?
do that's different?
Literally, so what day we take? Monday, for example. We've just moved into military housing, and there are 3 parks where we live, right? She's numbered them already, 1, 2 and 3. Her favourite one is the busiest one because it's the biggest one. But she likes to take teddies with her everywhere she goes. That she's named them all, like they're her friends. They're real to her, like, and she doesn't really even go to the park to enjoy the park herself. She goes to the park so that her teddies can enjoy the park.
I so understand that.
Yeah.
So she's mummying them, basically.
Yes, right? So we walk in. She immediately puts both her teddies on either end of the seesaw, and she wants to do that herself. But other children are running up, like trying to get involved, like wiggling the seat. And you can tell she's like,
What are you doing?
yeah. And she looked at me and she was like, boys and girls have a turn. And I was like, yeah, like let's move on to something else. So she did, but they followed her. Obviously, she's got teddies. They're interesting. These kids are young. They're like 5, 6 maybe. they're trying to talk to her. She's not replying. And then they leant over, and you know those things that like spin round and round and round in parks?
Yeah.
She'd put her teddies on those, and they leant over to spin it, and she like moved them away. She wasn't aggressive, but she was like, this is my game. And she's looking at me like, I don't understand. Why are they following me? Like, this is really difficult. And then there are girls in the corner of the park on their phones, probably like 10, 11, laughing, staring. And then that's the reality, right?
What do you do in those situations? Because I don't know if I could keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I would be like, what are you staring at?
Yeah, well.
I'd be a bit like,
I used to be like that.
I can't help it.
No, I used to be
or
like
I'd
that.
have to explain to the younger kids that,
yeah.
you know,
So
she's a bit different.
sometimes I do that, but you never actually get the response you want. It's very rare that you might get a kind and measured response from a child. Like it's you usually get the whole why or like and
but the 10-year-olds, I would have just been like, what are you staring at?
So
All right, she's a little different. Get over it.
Yeah,
I can't help it.
Oh God, I'm not going to the park with you.
Yeah. See, this is what I used to be like. I have vivid memories of awful experiences in the park when she was a lot younger because I was so defensive of her. Yeah. And like the second somebody even looked at Eloise, I used to be like, take a picture, it will last longer. And like, I was so aggressive.
I like that one.
Yeah. Like I was so angry all the time. But actually, I don't think I was necessarily angry at them. No. I think I was just angry at the fact that...
the situation.
Yeah. Like that this is my reality, right?
But when you were saying before that it's difficult for us. It's not difficult for them. I know that they were annoying Eloise and she didn't understand why they were playing. But yes, she might feel a bit frustrated, but the ones that feel really frustrated is us.
To be honest with you, most of the time Eloise is oblivious.
Right.
Like
100%.
She doesn't know that they're laughing at her.
No, of course not.
She might even see an emotional reaction like laughing and laugh. Yeah. Like she will not think you're laughing at me.
Yeah.
But you as a parent, you're like, and that's the type of thing that keeps you awake at night, right?
Yeah.
You'll lay there and be like, so that happened and why can't they just like leave her alone and why can't she just be able to play and all of these things that you hate yourself for. Mm-hmm. But the reality is
my kid going to get bullied and she's not even going to know about it and they're going to laugh at her?
Yeah. But like, I swear, if we're being completely honest and transparent, like being a parent to a child with neurodivergence is a grieving process. Yeah. That never ends.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It never ends.
No.
You'll have times when you're so sad. And then you'll have times where you're like, no, like this is who she is. It's absolutely fine. Like, I've got this. Yeah. Like everything's fine. And then something will happen and you are brought right back to reality.
It can be, and I think we can all agree, we can feel these emotions multiple times a day.
Oh my God, yeah.
Not just once, like, yeah.
It's not like a situation has to happen.
No.
I can be walking in the street and I see a little kid with their mum and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I get it. My partner's daughter, she's neurotypical, she's 4. She's doing things that Eloise is not doing. And comparison, 100% is the thief of joy. But the reality is when someone says comparison is the thief of joy to you, you just want to go,
bye.
Yeah, because actually, yes, you're right. It is. But
it's natural to do that, and whoever really says it's not is bullshitting.
Yeah,
because you can't.
Or they're not in our situation,
right?
So no Sen mum will agree.
With
that term.
No, because it's so difficult because you will spend the rest of your life comparing, and the reality is you lose out on so many things, and that's a horrible way of saying it, but it is the truth, you know. And then for a long time, I've sat here and thought maybe I should have another child with Reese, my partner, you know, maybe we should have another baby because I want the opportunity to have that experience that I thought I was going to have. And then I hate myself. And then I'm like, well, hang on a minute. You could have a child that's neurodiverse again. So, you know, and then like you go down this horrible spiral of like, I hate myself for thinking that, but it's okay to think that, but I'm only human. Yeah. But it's like,
it's exhausting.
I totally and utterly feel you.
Yeah.
I really do, because I've had days where it's like it's been so hard that, you know, I've wished that I didn't fall pregnant or like little things that make me feel physically sick that they've ever come into my brain.
But they do come in.
But they do, and I'm only human.
Of course they do. I mean, recently, a few months ago, we had to go through a disimpaction program. I don't know if you know what that means, but so basically, all of a sudden, Eloise is still in nappies at night, but she's dry during the day.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But she all of a sudden appeared to lose control of her bowels, like overnight. And I was like, what is going on? Like, this is awful. And then we had to go through a disimpaction program. It turned out she was like massively constipated and it was just awful. And we went right back to square one. We were smearing. I was dealing with like literally every day, like 10 to 15 nappy changes. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't go out.
So you put her back in nappies when this happened?
I had to. I didn't have a choice because we were going through so many pairs of underwear, and like she was going to school, and you know, even though she goes to a specialist school, she's really vulnerable because Eloise is in precocious puberty. So she's in early puberty. She's 10, but she looks like she's 15. Yeah. She is fully developed and doesn't want people in the toilet with her, you know, wiping and all that. And actually, I think those people as well sometimes feel
they don't want to be doing that.
because they don't want to take that
privacy away from
and her independence.
So then I was like, right, you know, she's back in nappies, and I was dealing with that. And I literally, it took me right back to when she was like 4 or 5 and I didn't go out. I didn't have any friends. I didn't socialise. I didn't do anything. I was lonely. I was so depressed. And it's like things like that. Like all of a sudden, when you're a parent of a neurodiverse child, like your life can change because they can regress or all of a sudden go through what appears to be just a really bad phase. And like, I hate using like bad, but that's what it feels like, right? And
maybe you can use any words that you like on this podcast.
Right?
There's no right or wrong. It's your experience and it's your story.
Yeah, you get so overanalyzed, don't you, on TikTok? Like,
I don't know how you do it. We do one thing and then it blows up with such
I can't even
negativity.
Yeah.
I think people lose the fact of what we're actually talking about and fixate on one thing that is so irrelevant.
Oh, don't. Yeah, I get it all the time, and I'm just like.
So, how did you get her back out of nappies?
So she went on this disimpaction program, which is like basically taking a crazy amount of laxatives, because what it was overflow soiling.
That's why she was leaking in the day.
So she was having overflow soiling, which is why she was leaking. So basically what happens is, sorry, you can cut this out if you want.
We don't.
But there's like a massive impaction of poo, essentially, in your bowel. And what happens is it can't go anywhere. So soft feces will travel around it, overflow soiling. That's what it was. She didn't lose.
Was it almost like an incontinence thing though? Could she not help it happening?
She had absolutely no control over it.
She couldn't communicate that to you.
No, but she also couldn't run to the toilet and go to the toilet.
So for a long time, she was trying to deal with it herself. Oh. So that was when we were having smearing. Like, I'm not joking.
I can't imagine.
There were points where there was poo like everywhere. I didn't even know what to do. I was just devastated.
That's so terrible, genuinely.
Oh my God, like it, you know when you're like, how is it on the ceiling? I don't understand how it's on the ceiling.
Got there?
Yeah, why are we dealing with this right now, you know? And silly things like...
You thought you'd already kicked that.
Yeah, like it was under her fingernails. Then I'm there trying to like do that, but she hates it because it's a nail brush and that's a really overwhelming thing. Yeah.
How do you get rid of the poo?
Yeah, exactly. So I just... Yeah.
People really just don't understand,
they don't. No.
It's 24-hour care,
my God.
especially when she went through that phase.
Yeah, she is out now back in nappies just at night because the disimpaction program worked.
Fantastic.
So is it a hormone thing for the nighttime then? With her staying in nappies, or she's just not able to...
She just doesn't wake up to wee.
It's just... Because they say it's a hormone thing.
They say that in boys.
Oh, is it boys?
It's weird because she obviously has melatonin to sleep, which, to be honest with you...
Doesn't work.
It's shite.
Yeah, it doesn't
Have you tried magnesium?
No. Yes. No. Is that a joke? Because loads of people will say that, yeah. Okay.
No.
Sophie swears by it.
For a
it's
while,
genuine.
I used the vitamin, you know, the ones that were all over TikTok.
Novamins, I'm not going to be mean about a brand. We'll discuss after that.
Okay.
Magnesium cream.
Yeah, so no, they didn't work. But she won't often stay asleep, but she still will wee in her nappy, which I don't know whether it's also a combination of, well, I've
knowing
got a
it's
nappy
on?
on, so I'm just going to wee here.
Yeah.
Because that involves getting up and going to the toilet, and I don't want to do that. I don't know, but it's hard.
Have you tried to take it off at night and see what happens? And she wees herself.
Yeah. It's just annoying to have to change the sheets all the time.
Oh my God. I mean, her bed, she's got a waterproof mattress protector, a waterproof duvet, like a medical
I bet
one.
all you can hear is like a bag of crisp when she's rolling around. It's so crispy.
Yeah, she's got a plastic sheet on the wall alongside her bed because I am not dealing with poo on the walls. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it.
No.
I did it for long enough. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it again. And that you just literally wipe off because it's plastic.
Yeah.
Fab. Like,
Yeah.
great. But yeah, her bed it's quite comical. It does literally like crinkle when you
can
get
probably
it. Like,
hear it from the, from
it's
the next
crunchy.
room. Yeah.
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 But it's that or,
No,
you know,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
Yeah, 100%.
So the good news, obviously, she is back out and she's not in nappies during the day now.
Yes.
So can you talk to us more about specialist school?
Yeah.
So obviously you said she is in a specialist school.
Yeah.
Did you have to fight to get her in there? When did
No.
she
What
start?
about nursery?
No, oh God, yeah, okay. So she started nursery when she was quite young so that I could work.
Yeah.
It was very quickly realised that she needed some one-to-one care. They did try and apply for funding for that, but I won't name names, but she went to a pretty bad nursery and we had a lot of issues with them. I sat down with the Senko who literally told me, her exact words were, you just need to hug her more.
Ugh.
You just need to hug her more. She needs, and I was like, she doesn't want
Great
me
tip.
anywhere near her. Like, are you actually okay? Like she hates me. It felt like she hated me at 3. Like she didn't want anything to do with me apart from to be her juice bitch, essentially, you know, like that was all she wanted. So, I eventually had to remove her from that nursery because I went to pick her up an hour early without letting them know, walked up the stairs and her one-to-one was imitating her cry in her face. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I put a formal complaint in.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And you just don't obviously know how long that was going on for.
This is the reality when you have a child that's nonverbal.
Yeah. They don't tell you.
No, you don't
But
know.
even if she's verbal now, and I'm going a bit off topic, would you even know what went on today?
That's
Neither
why
would
she's
we.
so vulnerable.
Yeah.
She's so vulnerable and she has been, unfortunately, the victim of, I can say this, but she has been the victim of abuse in the past. And as a result of that, she has a lot of trauma surrounding that. But that, again, I was none the wiser for the entire time it was happening because she can't tell me.
Can you go into that at all, abuse?
Unfortunately not, but she is no longer at risk of harm of that. She
Fantastic.
is removed from that situation. But it was an incredibly difficult time for her and for me. And as a result of that, this is
The
it.
trauma's with her.
And they offer, they've offered us trauma therapy for her. But the reality is with trauma therapy, so I go, okay, yeah, no worries. There's a yellow door.
To you.
Yeah. There's yellow door trauma therapy. We'll go for, so did they have a learning disability team then? No.
So how are they going to help her then?
So she can't have it then, can she?
No.
I'm not sitting her in a room with strangers.
And they'll say, tell us about your past. Oh, she'll say, I've got a teddy that's named
Oh,
Ben.
no, yeah. But actually, if you say something that she's said or she says something to you, that doesn't count. So let's say your child goes through something and they make a disclosure to you, which she has done. That doesn't count because I could have led her to say that.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Okay.
So you go down this whole horrible pathway with that. But yeah, so
we removed her from that nursery.
Yes, so that she came out of that nursery. I then found a really, really good one with incredible specialist care, but she only had like 3 months of nursery left to do. So I just sent her anyway because she really liked it there. They were amazing.
She needed to be in having an intervention.
100%. Yeah, like she needed help and one-to-one care and people that understood and, and then unlike a lot of people, and I do feel really bad when I say this, but we didn't have to fight for anything with Eloise.
But I also feel, which is unbelievable, but you did this like
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
It's changed.
It's just...
it's dramatic.
It's like there's been an influx since.
Yeah, so she got her EHCP 6.5 years ago now. I didn't have to fight for it. I didn't have to fight for it. My sister is going through it now with her son. She has just received the EHCP for him. But like the process, the way she explained it to me, I was so confused.
It's vile.
Yeah, like we had an educational psychologist out to the house like multiple times. They sat
You'd be
with
lucky
us.
if you get it once.
Yeah, and I've heard this. And like sometimes it can just be at the nursery setting.
Yeah.
Which how can you judge?
I know. With 30 other children in your class in a mainstream environment.
Yeah, like baffling to me. But we were lucky. We didn't have to fight for anything really, even her school place. Like
you got to choose where you wanted her to go and they were fine.
Yeah, I really wanted her to go to a specific school that I found. 8 children per class, you know, 2-to-1 ratio. So, and she has thrived there. Like they're really incredible, and we're really, really lucky.
So when you said you'd moved, Have you moved far away?
Yeah.
So different schooling now?
Potentially. So at the minute she's remaining at the same place.
And how long's the travel?
An hour on a good day.
Wow.
An hour and a half on a bad day.
Okay.
But she's actually been pretty good for the journeys because I just give her complete control of the music, which Eloise is music obsessed.
Oh my God, so is Callie.
Yeah,
she has to sit next to me, put it on, and all she does is just flick through her music.
Yeah. So she is obsessed, like as in there are specific songs.
How many times do you have to listen to the same songs every day? It's the same song as we come out of our roads. I'm like,
It's the type of song as well. So tell me why my child's favourite song is Give Me More by Britney Spears.
cool.
Yeah.
Where did she hear that?
Me. But like years ago, right? So now I'm like, every time it comes on, obviously it starts with, it's Britney, bitch. And Eloise just loves it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, or like she's just, specific songs she absolutely loves and we listen to them over and over again. So she's okay. Eventually, hopefully, we will move schools. We found one in our area now that goes all the way up to age 19.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
So if we could get her in that one, that would mean one transition.
Done.
And the plan is to stay where you are in this military.
Yes. Yeah. So for now, yes, hopefully we won't have to move. Reese's job means that, fingers crossed, we can stay where we are. But nothing's ever guaranteed.
Hats off to you, because like when I follow you and Reese has to go off for weeks and months, and it must be so challenging for you. And is it challenging for Eloise as well? For the change.
Yeah, it is. But I'm going to be honest, she actually really enjoys having me on her own. And we did everything that we possibly could for her, which she loves countdowns. So the fact she had a visual countdown and the fact that she had me 24/7, I think she was like, sound.
Yeah.
Off you go, mate. I'm
Sorry.
not bothered. Yeah, literally, like that's what it felt like. And for me, Reese is incredible and he does get involved in her care when needed, but I do all of Eloise's self-care, personal care, everything where I can, because... And I would hope that he understands this when he hears it, but like, I feel very protective of her. I trust him implicitly, but I've trusted people implicitly in the past and they've broken my trust with her. So I am very funny about who I let look after Eloise. Yeah. And she needs help with everything, washing, dressing, and...
Yeah, there's a time it's mummy to do that.
Yeah, like he will do it. I went on my hen not that long ago and he had her for the night and everything was fine. But like, I was panicking the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had the best time with
her, like if you go away or...
My mum.
She really good.
Who is a literal angel sent down from heaven. Their bond is unbelievable.
Wonderful.
I don't know what I'd do without my mum, honestly.
You spend a lot of time with her, don't you?
Yeah. And I know that not everybody has that. And it breaks me because I have friends with children that have really complex level of need and they don't have anyone.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what I would actually do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I can...
Yeah. Like it's so
And my mother-in-law.
hard. Yeah. Thank God that we have these people because...
And I have 2 other children as well.
Yeah, this is it, right? So you have to spread yourself so thin.
So thin. And the guilt, the mum guilt that I can't do for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, that's the guilt you've been feeling recently, haven't you? It's kind of like fobbing off the other 2 because Bailey's got such high care needs.
Yeah.
And it's just the guilt all the time,
sick
isn't
for my
it?
other 2. I want to spend time with them, but I can't. But then if I spend time with them, I have to be in the house because that's where Bailey Boy wants to stay. And then they see all their friends going swimming and then I palm them off with my friends' kids and then I feel guilty because I want to be there, but I can't. It's just, I don't know which way to turn sometimes. So I just want to scream.
Yeah,
you just
it's
feel
exhausting.
Trapped.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I feel isolated, but I have so many people around me.
Yeah.
And I said it on my Instagram, it feels like the world's going on around me and I feel trapped.
Yeah.
In it.
I get that.
Yeah.
Massively. I get that.
But the sad thing is that I'm always going to feel that way.
Yeah. And
but do you feel, you said a few years ago you were very lonely, didn't have lots of friends, felt very trapped. But I feel with my social media, I've built the most incredible community.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like we've got, I would say some of my closest people are online.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because they just get you. So do you feel the same way?
100%. Like people think that it's cheesy and that maybe I'm not telling the truth, but I feel like the followers that we have on our TikTok are like family.
Yeah.
Because I know that when we've had a really awful day, they would rally around to try and support you and make you feel seen and heard and just be there.
Even just by the comments and the messages that we get.
Yeah. And also just, having other women, I say women because it is mostly women that reach out to me, but there are men too, but reach out and say, do you know what, I've just experienced that, or I'm experiencing that, or have you tried this? Or actually the best one is, I hear you, I see you, I'm going through it as well, you're not alone.
That's it. That's all we need to hear.
Yeah.
We don't always need advice.
No.
We just want, I see you, I hear you, I get it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
that's a lot
I
of the
needed
time
to hear this today.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that's how I reply to people when they message me. I just say, I feel you.
100%.
I get it. There's nothing more I can say.
No.
Because we can't change it.
No.
But then sometimes when I'm in like that real self, like I just want everyone to go away or whatever. And, when they say things that's so lovely, I'm like, that's really sweet. But it's not going to change anything.
No, there is that too. I mean, yeah.
Keep strong. And it's amazing. But
Yeah.
I need to be in the right frame of mind for that. Otherwise,
receive those
No,
comments.
of course.
Yeah.
And it's the same as I had one of my really good friends, and she wasn't saying anything bad at all. And she just said that lots of people ask me about you and how you're doing. And they say, she's just the most strongest mum I've ever seen.
It's a hard thing
and I was
to
like,
hear.
I don't want to be strong.
No.
I
It's
just
not
want
a
to be a
choice
mum.
that I
It's not a
can
choice.
make.
No,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
and I think that's why I feel like we're always educating people, but how much more do we need to educate? With the park scenarios and the swimming pools and where it's all going on.
Yeah.
And these kids don't know or understand.
No.
And in mainstream school environments where Callie is at the moment, what do the kids know? What are they being told?
Nothing.
No, this is it, right?
How many times do the teachers say, you know what, let her do her thing, it's because she's this?
Yeah.
Like,
are they actually supporting her when you're not there? It's just
Mainstream is a hard one.
Yeah, mainstream is, it's a really tricky one. There are so many different things to worry about with mainstream, so I can't imagine how you feel, because I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I really don't. So I feel for you massively.
We'll see what happens. We take each day
Exactly.
as it comes.
Yeah.
One question I have for you. Does Eloise know that she has a condition or a diagnosis?
No, we have never...
Would she understand it?
No. So this is it. Like, I think people see Eloise on TikTok and they think, because Plate Up Dinner is so routine, right? She knows exactly what to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
even
she
if you're
said
not
it.
there, either Reese or Mum or someone else has to do it. It's
Yeah.
her absolute
But it's
routine.
so routine that
Yeah.
it just comes naturally now.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was thinking about this the other day, when I do like hashtag Plate Up Dinner with Lulu, there's like 776 posts with that hashtag. They're all me, right? So she's done this 776
unbelievable.
times. Okay, amazing. And she is amazing, but it's so routine for her, so she knows what to say, what to do.
Yes.
But people don't realise that off camera, day-to-day life,
That's not her.
no, she won't converse with you. You ask her, I'll ask her a question, and most of the time I get either no answer or no, I don't want to talk.
Callie
Or-
says a lot, no talking.
Yeah, no
I'm
talking.
like, okay.
Oh, what does Eloise say? Finished, or that's it now.
That's it
That's
now.
it now.
And
She's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's done.
We'll be like, okay.
Callie's, we laugh, not laugh, but we say it all the time. But Callie, if someone said to Callie, hi, like, did you have a good day at school today? Her response is, when's your birthday?
Yeah.
Like, it's not, she's conversing, but not
It's
to the
not
question.
what you expect,
it's
right?
of her interest,
Yeah.
which is birthdays.
Yeah. So no, Eloise doesn't. And to be honest with you, I don't know if she ever will, but you never know what the future holds. And that's
all we have to hold on to.
100%.
Do you find, and I don't know if I share it enough on my social media, I actually maybe should do a post being like, friends, people at school,
You
anyone
just took
around
the words
me,
out my mouth.
don't talk about autism in front of Callie because she doesn't know she's autistic.
Yeah.
When they go, well, my daughter's autistic, she's so like Callie, and I'm like, oh my God, she's there.
Yeah.
So
I
don't
maybe
know
I
if
need to
would-
make it more.
Would she understand that? Well,
Probably
we wouldn't know.
not.
We don't know, so there's no.
But we don't
Yeah.
know how much they really take in. Like,
I think they take in
No.
more than we know.
Callie doesn't learn. I've said it before. She learns in her corner while she's playing with her dollies in a school environment,
Yeah.
but she knows everything.
Yeah.
So I do think she hears it and
Yeah.
understands
Oh,
it
God,
all.
yeah.
So I think she does. I mean, she's obsessed with looking at videos of Bailey Bow. I don't know
Okay.
whether she knows that they've got the autism vibe together,
Yeah, okay.
but she's obsessed with watching them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. So I feel like she knows but doesn't know, but we wouldn't be able to converse it.
No.
She's never going to be like, Mum, what's autism?
No, exactly.
So we're not there yet either, but maybe I
No.
do need to tell people just to kind of be a bit more quiet
Just to
around
be
her.
mindful, right?
Yeah, 100%. Does she have friends?
That's a really hard question to answer.
Do people love being around her?
People love being
'Cause we
around
find that with
Eloise. She's she's very funny. Like she's very comical and doesn't realise it a lot of the time. She has a particular friend at school. They get on really well. They're very similar. And she will tolerate this girl in her space, playing with her toys, which is unheard
Big deal.
of. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's
Did you
really,
play
really
dates
hard.
with this girl? No.
Birthday parties?
Never.
Has she ever had a birthday party?
She has. So I've pretty much every year.
Okay. With
we'll
friends
do
or
family mostly. I will invite kids from school.
whether they come or not?
Yeah.
But it's not reciprocated back?
No. So Eloise, it's really sad actually, has never been invited to.
She's coming to Callie's party in June. I don't care if it's going to take you 2 hours. She's coming.
That's really sweet. Thank you. But yeah, it's family. Yeah. But not friends. But I don't know whether that's because actually there are people in Eloise's class that are in exactly the same position as us, and maybe their child doesn't want a party.
Yeah,
Maybe they're just not
maybe
throwing
that
them.
you don't know. Maybe they're not
You
throwing
don't know,
them.
do you? Right?
But Eloise she likes her birthday.
She
likes
loves,
having cake,
oh my
presents.
God, yeah. She loves her birthday. She loves celebrations. Presents is a difficult one. She finds them quite overwhelming.
The noise
She'll
of
just
the
rip
wrapping.
through them all like.
And then just look at it, pass it on, open the other one.
Yeah, like totally not.
Yeah.
So we spread them right out over Christmas and that now because otherwise she's like, she couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What she's opening.
So if you just got her loads of teddies, would she be really happy with that? Or has she got interest in other toys?
Babies and teddies mostly.
They need to be
Yeah.
friends. Callie's obsessed with babies. She's going to work in NICU when she's older. I already know it.
Like literally.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Reborns though.
I need to get some of these.
Do you?
They're scary
They're
though.
quite frightening. She loves to sit them up in my bed.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
no.
and like leave them there. And I'll walk in the room and be like,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like literally. But her teddies and babies look like something from a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look after them.
Mm.
I swear, like if Toy Story was a real thing, they
Mm-hmm.
would want to run 1,000 miles from my house because she is vile to them a lot of the time. Like that's not a very nice thing to say, but it's true. Like she will yeet them. You know, she does a lot of role play because she's obsessed with Super Nanny.
Does she speak American?
Super
No.
Nanny.
No, she doesn't speak
Super
American.
Nanny?
Don't even get me started on
I can't
Super Nanny.
Bear her.
I hate
Because she's dealing with neurodivergent children and she doesn't know she
No,
is.
I
And that's
hate
what bothers me.
Joe Frost is so annoying, and I don't even care if that goes in. I think she
I'm gonna
is
tag her.
a horrendous human being. I really do. Sorry, but
But she loves watching Super Nanny.
yes.
Do you
but
think she relates to their behaviours for
she
children?
right? So one thing about Eloise is she finds this is awful, but she finds other children and actually adults when they're distressed, screaming, crying,
as Callie.
entertaining.
Oh my God, Callie burst out laughing
She
when
wants to
people are
laugh.
meltdowning.
She wants to watch
Callie
it.
Laughs.
She thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
So she obsesses over it. So Super Nanny, I hate. I've tried to like
Block
ban
it.
it, block it. She will find it. She even finds it on YouTube Kids. She'll even watch it in different
So
languages.
can she type it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, same as Callie.
Yeah, because she can see it, right? So, like, if Eloise wants to find something,
She'll find it.
it.
Oh, they are like two peas in a pod, these
it's
two.
kind of like they can do what they want to do, and if there's something they don't want to do, they just won't do it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
They
Yes, on their
absolutely won't
terms,
do
isn't
it.
it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Completely. Would you class that as PDA?
No.
So I personally do think that Eloise has pathological demand avoidance. However, I don't know if that is. I think that she, for some reason, does find extreme emotion really entertaining. Because actually, even if somebody hysterically laughs, like she is there. Like,
Oh,
But do
same
you think
as
she's actually
Callie.
understanding what's going on? It's just the laugh that's making her laugh.
it's the laugh
Yeah.
that's
It's
the
making her
thrill.
laugh. It is also a part and a common symptom of left hippocampal sclerosis, which is that scarring in her brain, is to either have extreme emotion or react to extreme emotion. So it's interesting to watch the way that she is. But yeah, the Super Nanny thing.
I need to look into this. Callie used to. I think you said that Bailey's done it a few times. Callie in the middle of the night
Yeah.
would just crack out laughing, like hysterically laughing. Not recently. It was when she was a baby. But then if other people are hysterically laughing, she's with them. Or if people are crying, she's laughing.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
it's so embarrassing.
It's awkward, isn't it? And
Yeah.
like a couple of years ago, we had a really bad time with Eloise's behaviour, like as in it was awful. And I managed to get into this Sen-friendly summer club.
No.
What a load of absolute bollocks. I dropped her off, was literally called within the hour. Like I could hear her screaming on the phone. I was like, oh my God, get there. She can't get to me. She's behind a door. They're trying to tell me, they're stood in front of her trying to tell me what's going on. She just wants me, right? Yeah. There's an elderly lady stood there, obviously waiting for a child. And Eloise pushed this old lady over completely to the floor to get to me. Oh my gosh. And it was one of those moments where I was like, you just pushed an old lady to the floor. Like,
but why has she pushed the old lady?
Because she couldn't get to me. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, right? So that has happened. They're dealing with this lady who, to be honest, I feel bad now, but I didn't even ask her if she was okay because I was so focused on Eloise 100%. That I was like, why were you just stood in the way? It wasn't her fault. Yeah. But I was just so frustrated. We get in the car. I'm driving home. She is absolutely hysterically laughing.
It's like nothing has happened just before.
And I'm not, in that moment, I won't lie to you. I phoned my mum and I was like, I know
exactly what you're saying because I feel the same way.
She's crazy, mum. Yeah. And she's like, no, and I'm like, no, mum, I'm sorry, but this is, because in those moments, you just can't understand.
It's You're so like, mind-boggling. Kelly will be the same. She can be hysterically crying and then just burst out laughing. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Are we bipolar in here? Yeah. This gives me anxiety. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't, because I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. We're never going to understand. No. Unless we're in their little brains, which we won't be.
Eloise will very often talk to somebody, but they're not there. Mm-hmm. She does that all the time. Mm-hmm. She has specific ones. I mean, we were in Home Bargains not that long ago and I was paying and I finished paying, turned around to leave and I held her hand and she literally turned around. There was nobody there, shouted down the aisle, bye Paula. And I was literally like, who's Paula?
Eloise.
Yeah. Or we'll be driving along at night and she'll be like, it's Papa. And I'm like, that is really frightening, Eloise.
Have you listened to the telepathy tapes podcast?
No.
Do that, please, and come back to me.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay, I will.
She sounds like that. Completely.
Yeah, it really,
it's
really
so fascinating.
You need to listen to that.
Yeah.
We're going to round it up.
Yeah.
I want you to just, if anyone's listening, your followers or people that are parents of neurodivergent children, if you've got one bit of advice that you could share, and I know I'm putting the pressure on for you to think about it, but anything just to finish it off, it'll be lovely.
To be honest with you, it's something that I try and live my life by now, and I think everybody needs to remember that this is our first time living too, right? So like, don't beat yourself up if you had a reaction to something that maybe you're not that happy with, or it's been a bad day and you haven't behaved in the way necessarily that you wanted to or think you should have done. There's so much pressure on us to be perfect. There's no guidebook when you're a parent in general, but specifically when you're a parent with a neurodivergent child, like you're just expected to cope, but you have to remember that you're one person. It's your first time living. You are amazing. And the fact that you get through each day is pretty incredible. So like, just try and cut yourself some slack, be easy on yourself, look after yourself, and try and find the joy in each day. Try. Yeah. I know it's hard, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so
much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.